I was digging holes for my rose bushes when the shovel hit something plastic, something that didn't belong 6 inches deep in the dirt behind our garden shed. My hands were shaking as I pulled out the mud-covered phone. Still on, still charged, hidden there deliberately. That was 3 years ago. I'm May. I'm 68 years old now, and what I found on that phone destroyed everything I thought I knew about my life. Let me start from the beginning. I had been married to Robert for 43 years. We met when I was 22 and he was 25. He was handsome then. Strong jaw, dark hair, eyes that crinkled when he smiled. We built a life together. A small house with a garden I loved more than anything. 2 children who grew up and moved away, and a routine that felt safe. Safe. That word haunted me later. My sister Claire lived 2 streets away. She was 62, 3 years younger than me. We talked every single day. She came over for coffee. We went shopping together. She was my best friend. My only real friend, if I'm being honest. After the kids left and Robert retired, Claire was the person I spent most of my time with. Robert had been acting strange for about 6 months before I found the phone. He spent more time in the garage, more time in the garden. He bought a new phone and said his old one broke. He started taking walks alone in the evenings. When I asked to join him, he said he needed time to think, to process getting older. I believed him. I always believed him. That morning when I found the phone, Robert had gone to the hardware store. Or so he said. I wanted to plant roses along the back fence. Something to give me purpose. Something to make me feel useful again in a house that felt too empty. The shovel made a dull thunk against the plastic. I remember thinking it was trash at first. Maybe an old remote control someone had thrown away. But when I pulled it out and wiped the mud off the screen, I saw it was a phone. An iPhone, not too old. The battery icon showed 47%. Why would someone bury a working phone? My stomach turned. I knew. Somehow, I already knew. I sat down right there in the dirt. My knees hurt. My back ached. But I couldn't stand. I pressed the home button, and the screen lit up. No password. Just a wallpaper of a sunset. Generic, impersonal. Like a phone someone wanted to use without being traced. I opened the messages. The first name I saw made my blood run cold. Claire. My sister's name. Right there at the top of the recent messages. Over 2,000 messages between them. 2,000. I tapped the thread and started reading from the bottom. From the beginning. Robert. I can't stop thinking about yesterday. Claire. Me neither. We need to be more careful. May almost saw us at the store. Robert. She suspects nothing. She never does. Claire. I feel terrible, but I can't help how I feel. Robert. Meet me tomorrow. Same place. I need to see you. I couldn't breathe. The words swam in front of my eyes. My sister, my husband. How long? I kept scrolling. Kept reading. Each message was a knife in my chest. They had been together for 7 years. 7 years. While I cooked dinner for Robert every night. While I washed his clothes and asked about his day. While Claire sat in my kitchen drinking my coffee and complaining about her loneliness after her divorce. They were together, in hotel rooms, in her house when I thought she was running errands, in our house when I visited my daughter 3 states away. There were photos. I won't describe them. I can't. But they were proof. Undeniable proof. I read for 2 hours sitting in that dirt. The sun moved across the sky. My legs went numb. But I couldn't stop. I needed to see everything, to understand the full depth of their betrayal. Claire. What if May finds out? Robert. She won't. She's too trusting. Too simple. Simple. He called me simple. Claire. I love you. I wish we could just be together. Robert. When she's gone, we will be. We just need to wait. When I'm gone, they were waiting for me to die. I heard Robert's truck in the driveway. I quickly buried the phone again, covered it with dirt, smoothed it over. My hands were trembling so badly I could barely hold the shovel. I stood up, brushed the dirt off my knees, and went inside through the back door. Robert was in the kitchen unpacking bags from the hardware store. "Hey, honey," he said without looking at me. "I got those screws you wanted for the shelf." I stared at him. This man I had loved for 43 years. This stranger wearing my husband's face. "Thank you," I said. My voice sounded strange, distant. He finally looked at me. "You okay? You look pale." "I'm fine. Just tired from gardening." He nodded and went back to unpacking. I watched him move around our kitchen, touching things I had bought, drinking from mugs I had washed, living in a house I had maintained while he was with my sister. That night, I couldn't sleep. Robert snored next to me like always. Heavy. Loud. The same sound I had fallen asleep to for 43 years. But now it sounded different. Now it sounded like a stranger. I kept thinking about the messages, about 7 years of lies. 7 years of Sunday dinners with them across from each other at my table. 7 Christmases. 7 Thanksgivings. 7 birthdays for each of us where they smiled and pretended and bought me gifts with money from our shared account. The next morning, Claire called like she always did. "Morning, May. Want to get coffee today?" Her voice was so normal, so casual. Like she wasn't sleeping with my husband. Like she hadn't betrayed me in the worst way possible. "Sure," I heard myself say. "The usual place?" "Perfect. See you at 10. I don't know why I agreed. Maybe I needed to see her face, to see if I could tell now what I had missed for 7 years. Maybe I just wasn't ready to blow everything up yet. We met at the little coffee shop we always went to. The one where everyone knew our names, where the owner always asked about our families, our normal place, our safe place, except nothing was safe anymore. Claire hugged me when she arrived. I stood stiff in her arms. She didn't notice. She ordered her usual latte. I ordered tea even though I wanted nothing. My stomach was twisted in knots. "So, what did you do yesterday?" She asked. "Planted roses," I said. "In the backyard." "That's nice. Robert help you?" The way she said his name. So casual, as if she had every right to speak about my husband. "No. He went to the hardware store." Typical man. Never around when you need help with the garden. I wanted to scream at her, to throw my hot tea in her face, to tell her I knew everything. But I just nodded, smiled, played the role of simple May who suspects nothing. We talked for an hour. She told me about a new recipe she wanted to try, about a sale at the department store, about her plans to repaint her living room. Normal things. Sister things. All of it poison now. When I got home, I went straight to the backyard. I dug up the phone again. I took photos of every message, every photo, every piece of evidence. I uploaded everything to a cloud account I created just for this. Then I buried the phone again exactly where I found it. I needed time to think, to plan, to figure out what to do with this bomb ticking inside my chest. For 2 weeks, I pretended everything was normal. I cooked Robert's favorite meals. I watched TV with him in the evenings. I talked to Claire every day. It was the hardest thing I had ever done. Harder than raising 2 children alone while Robert worked long hours. Harder than nursing him through his heart surgery 5 years ago. Harder than burying my parents. At night, I lay awake planning. I was 65 years old. I had no job. No real income except Robert's pension and our Social Security. The house was in both our names. Our savings account was shared. If I divorced him, I would get half of everything. Half of a life I had built entirely with my own hands while he was busy with my sister. But I wanted more than half. I wanted justice. I started documenting everything. I wrote down every time Robert said he was going somewhere and came back smelling like Claire's perfume. Every time Claire canceled plans with me, and Robert was mysteriously unavailable. Every lie, every deception, every moment of those past 7 years that suddenly made sense. I went to see a lawyer, a woman, someone Robert didn't know. I brought all my evidence, the photos of the messages, my documentation, everything. She looked at the evidence for a long time. Then she looked at me. "Mrs. Patterson," she said, "this is one of the clearest cases of adultery I've ever seen. In this state, adultery affects asset division. You could get significantly more than half." "I want everything," I said. She raised her eyebrows. "Everything?" "The house, the savings, his pension, everything. I raised our children alone while he worked. I maintained our home. I sacrificed my career to support his. And while I did all that, he was with my sister. I want everything," the lawyer smiled. Not a happy smile, a warrior's smile. "Let's make them pay." We spent 3 months building the case, gathering more evidence, getting statements from neighbors who had seen Robert's truck at Claire's house during odd hours, getting phone records that showed thousands of calls between them, getting credit card statements that showed hotel rooms and gifts Robert had bought for her. During those 3 months, I became someone else. Not simple May, not trusting May. I became steel. I became fire. I looked at Robert and Claire and felt nothing but cold determination. The confrontation came on a Tuesday. I had invited Claire over for lunch. I told Robert to come home early. I said I had something important to tell them both. They thought maybe I was sick, maybe dying. I could see the hope in their eyes, the terrible secret hope that their problem was about to solve itself. They arrived within minutes of each other. Robert came in through the front door. Claire came in through the back. They sat at my kitchen table. The same table where we had eaten hundreds of meals together, where we had celebrated birthdays and holidays and anniversaries. I put a folder on the table between them. "I know," I said simply. Robert's face went white. Claire's mouth opened, but no sound came out. "I know about the 7 years. I know about the hotels. I know about the plans you made for when I'm gone. I know everything." "May—" Robert started. "Don't." I cut him off. "Don't say my name. Don't apologize. Don't explain. I don't want to hear it." Claire started crying, those practiced tears she'd perfected over 62 years. "May, please. Let me explain." "Explain what?" "Explain how you slept with my husband for 7 years. Explain how you sat in my kitchen drinking my coffee while you were having an affair. Explain how you waited for me to die so you could be together." I opened the folder. Inside were copies of everything. Messages, photos, evidence. "I've filed for divorce," I said to Robert. "My lawyer says I'll get the house, the savings, most of your pension. You'll get exactly what you deserve. Nothing." Robert stood up, his face red now, angry. "You can't do this." "I already did. That's my house. My money. I worked for 40 years. And I worked beside you. I raised your children. I gave up everything for you. And you repaid me by sleeping with my sister." Claire was sobbing now. Real tears this time. We didn't mean for it to happen. We fell in love. Love. The word tasted like acid. "You don't know what love is," I said. "Love is loyalty. Love is honesty. Love is not sneaking around behind your sister's back for 7 years. May, please." Claire begged. "You're my sister. My only family. I was your sister. Now you're nothing to me." I stood up, walked to the front door, and opened it. "Get out. Both of you. This is my house now. You're not welcome here." They didn't move at first. They couldn't believe it. Simple May. Trusting May. Giving them orders. "Now," I said. They left. Robert grabbed his keys from the hook by the door. Claire stumbled out, crying. I closed the door behind them, locked it, and, for the first time in 3 months, broke down. I slid down the door and cried, not for Robert, not for Claire, but for the 43 years I had wasted, for the sister I had loved, for the life I thought I had. The divorce took 6 months. Robert fought it. He hired a lawyer. He tried to claim I was mentally unstable, that I was imagining things. But my evidence was ironclad. His own words convicted him. His own messages. His own photos. The judge was a woman in her 60s. She looked at the evidence, looked at Robert, looked at me, and I saw something in her eyes. Recognition, maybe. understanding. She had probably seen this before. Men betraying loyal wives. Sisters betraying sisters. Mr. Patterson, she said. You disgust me. She gave me everything. The house, 80% of the savings, most of his pension. She ordered him to pay my legal fees. She made sure I would be comfortable for the rest of my life. Claire tried to contact me for months after. Calls, texts, letters. She showed up at my door crying, begging forgiveness, saying she was sorry, saying she made a mistake, saying she needed me. I never answered. I never opened the door. She was dead to me. Robert moved in with Claire after the divorce. I heard they got married 6 months later. A small ceremony, no family. Just them and their shame. I don't know if they're happy. I don't care. I sold the house a year later. Too many memories. Too many ghosts. I moved to a small apartment near the city, close to museums and cafes and life. Real life. Not the half-life I had been living. I made new friends. Women my age who understood. Who had their own stories of betrayal and survival. We meet for coffee every week. We travel together. We laugh. We live. I'm 68 now. I have 10 years, maybe 20, maybe more. And every single one of those years will be mine. Not Robert's, not Claire's, mine. Sometimes people ask me if I regret it. If I wish I had tried to forgive them, to work it out, to keep the family together. No, never. They didn't just betray me. They stole 7 years of my life. 7 years when I could have been living truthfully instead of living in a lie. 7 years when I could have found real love, real friendship, real family. I don't miss them. I don't think about them much anymore. They're just characters in a story that happened to someone else. To old May, simple May, trusting May. That May is gone. I'm something new now. Something stronger. Something that doesn't apologize for taking up space, for demanding respect, for expecting loyalty. If you're watching this and you're going through something similar, listen to me. You are not too old. You are not too weak. You are not too dependent. You can start over. You can fight back. You can win. Age is not a prison. Being a woman is not a weakness. Being kind is not the same as being stupid. I was 65 when I found that phone. I was 66 when I divorced him. I started my new life at an age when society says you should be winding down. Accepting less. Being grateful for what you have. No, I refuse. I am 68, and I am just beginning. My name is May. I found my husband's phone hidden in the backyard. The messages were from my sister, and discovering their betrayal was the best thing that ever happened to me, because it set me free. Subscribe for more stories.